was going to show you my sweet gift that I got that my son and his family brought me when they came to visit this last weekend. And my granddaughter is actually who gave it to me to unwrap, but I think my daughter-in-law had come across it, maybe at Hobby Lobby or somewhere, and got it for me, and I just think it's adorable. I've been going to show you, I've been in several of my videos telling you guys about the free library books that I had sold. I would mention, oh, I sold this book and it was a free library book. I was going to show you this shelf. It's two-sided, and I have all these free library books and the shelf. I'll show you those little cushions my youngest daughter made. I think those are pretty, those throw pillows. Anyway, so I have sorted them and have slowly been getting them listed. And then I was going to show you guys also, you guys that, if you haven't seen the video about, not my last trip to Duncan, but the one a month or two ago, I did a video on it where my son and husband and I went to a library sale, and they had library books and movies were 5 for $1. And I went through one bag on that video and showed you guys. And this bag, I had already gone through about half of it a few weeks ago, and I didn't film that, but there's still some left in this bag. Most of these are ones that I stayed downstairs and filled my bag, and then my son and husband went upstairs to another room, and they came down with some they had picked out for me. This one I think I had added to the top of the bag, or I added several to the top of the bag after they came back down. This is just a cute book, but the rest of these I'm pretty sure were ones they found up there. I think it may have been kind of reference books up there, and so we got the whole bag for $5, and there were at least twice this many books in this bag. International Encyclopedia of Horse Breeds. Now, some of these do have library markings and things, but some of them don't. I think they were ones that were donated to the library, and they just never put them out on the floor to be checked out, and they used them in the library sale. On the wing, this is a little bit bigger book, more like coffee table size. The Life of Birds from Feathers to Flight. This also is more of a coffee table size book. Discovery and Exploration, an Atlas History of Man's Journey into the Unknown. It's a nice book. Let's see. Inventors and Discoveries. This might be one for us to go through a little bit at a time, like I've been off and on in some of my videos going through those, that book series that I have that's of Encyclopedia of Collectibles. This book would probably be interesting too for us to go through. Well, we may just look at one of the, let's see what's at the very beginning of it. That looks something to do with space, maybe. This is art. Oh, clocks. We went through clocks in the Encyclopedia of Collectibles too, and I found that very fascinating. We'll just look at a couple of pages here, and I'll spend some time looking through this before I... Oh, The Power of Steam. Love, love, love that. That'll be very interesting. Steamboats, and probably it's going to have trains in it too. But we'll go through some of this a different day when I've had time to look through it a little better and be more prepared. And then, let's see. If I can get it out of the bag. There we go. It's another book on birds. I'll have to do a little work on the top of that dust jacket. The Nesting Season, the Bird Photographs of Frederick Kent Truslow. I bet that's good. It makes me think of when my kids were growing up in their homeschooling, we learned a lot about John Audubon and his art. And I've actually recently sold a book of his. I love birds. We one time were on a, I think it was a ladies' retreat maybe, and the lady there was involved in bird watching, and she took us outside and showed us a lot of birds that I didn't even know you could find around here. And then so I had her come to a youth gathering we were having for church camp, and she had things all set up telling us all about Oklahoma birds, and then took us out in the woods and helped us to learn what the different calls sound like. This book is from a vineyard, and it's got some real neat things in it. Several recipes. Let's see, where is the vineyard? It's from Almaden Vineyards, is maybe how you say it. The book was published in New York, New York, but I can't seem to see where that vineyard is. This is a first edition book from 1987. Okay, let's see. I bet it tells here. California. It's one of California's oldest wineries. It's pretty. And I listed these 6 Christian Library series books. It's called The Christian Library. But these 6 that I listed are Hind's Feet on High Places. That's a Christian book. Actually, we got a copy of that as a wedding gift, and actually it was from our landlord, who is the uncle of who now ended up being our daughter-in-law. And at that time, of course, we didn't know that was going to happen. There was 2 copies of that, and I just kept them together. And The God of All Comfort, The Christian's Secret of a Happy Life. So those last 2 are by the same author, but different titles. In His Steps. If you guys have never read that, that's a really neat book. That's probably one of the better selling books of all time if you do a little research on that. And then Ben-Hur. So I listed those 6 in a group for $49.99 plus shipping. And I had one that was a C.S. Lewis one that I sold a while back with some other C.S. Lewis books. And then there was this one too. It's an Andrew Murray book, and I have some other books by him, so was gonna put that with that. And then I have this Corrie ten Boom one that I have a bunch of Corrie ten Boom books, and I think I've told you guys that The Hiding Place is my all-time favorite book. My older sister really liked Corrie ten Boom's books, and as I said, The Hiding Place is pretty much my all-time favorite book. But I remembered one time, not too long ago, my sister and I were talking about it, and she told me that In My Father's House, that she liked it even better than The Hiding Place. And so it's a really good book, too. So if you guys are interested in those kind of books, Corrie ten Boom and her family hid Jews during World War II. And it's a neat thing. She ended up in a concentration camp. Her father passed away in jail before they got sent to the concentration camp. And then her sister passed away in the concentration camp. But she has a really neat story to tell and wrote numerous books. I've got several here that were in those books that were given to me free. And then I listed W.A. Criswell. Years ago, was pastor at First Baptist Dallas and was the president of the Southern Baptist Convention. And I've got several of his books that I just listed. And there was one of them, for whatever reason, was selling pretty well for around $50. And it's called The Scarlet Thread Through the Bible. And I had 6 other of his books that individually weren't selling that great, but so I put them in a group with that $50 book, and I just got them listed for $99.99 plus shipping, so $100 plus shipping. And then I got these 2 books, these vintage books, this one and this one, these 2, by Glenn Clark. I listed that pair for $24.99 plus shipping, and I've got many more to get listed. I sold this book for $24.99 plus shipping, and it is going to Lexington, South Carolina. I've been looking at that encyclopedia of horse breeds that I showed you guys, and it's been making me think back about past experiences with horses. And I love horses. I just think they're so beautiful and majestic, as I believe most people really like horses. And I really haven't been around horses much at all in the last few years, but my childhood was a different story. I grew up around horses, and through the years we had numerous horses, but I had a few that were my favorites. We had a paint horse, and her name was Rebel, and I always really liked her and enjoyed riding her. And we had a quarter horse that's name was Littlefoot, and that horse was unbelievably fast. And then my dad got me a Shetland pony, and she was already named when we got her. She was gray, and her name was Maudie, of all things. I don't even really know why, but that was just always her name. And from a young age, I could, care for the horse, groom it, saddle it, bridle it, and hop on and ride it all over our ranch. And it was just a lot of fun. Growing up, my daughters in particular of my kids always wished that they had a pony or horse. And I always wished that we could get them one, but we just didn't ever really have a place to keep one. But they've gotten to, through the years, be around horses several times, thankfully. I'm going to share some photos of 3 of my kids doing some trail riding near Red River, New Mexico. And my youngest daughter, my daughters are all young adults now. I mean, my children are all young adults. They're all in their 20s. But my youngest daughter has a dear friend who is quite the horsewoman, and she has won several national competitions in equestrian and even got a college scholarship. So my youngest daughter has gotten to be around her horses some and has enjoyed that. And her horses are high dollar, gorgeous horses. And I actually have a cousin who works for an organization called Agape, and they provide experiences for people that have some kind of disability to come out and get to ride the horses and be around them. It's a horse therapy, a therapeutic horse facility, and I think that's just the perfect job for her. Growing up, she always had horses, and she probably would have rather been with those horses than any person. She spent lots of time with them. And I don't know if it's still the case, but I know a couple of years ago, she had a horse that she would take to the Oklahoma State University football games. And that horse, it was a Shetland, I believe, or some kind of probably just I don't think it was a Shetland. I think it was a miniature horse. And it was one of the mascots for OSU. And so she would take that horse to that, and that was a neat thing. But I don't know if that's still the case or not. But anyway, I'm going to share some different photos and things of horses our family has been around through the years. Just the other day, my husband and I just happened to be in town, and we came across a little horse that I'll show you a short video that I took of. All right, guys, have a great day. You never know what you might see.
Yeah.
When you get out and about.